Now,
My name is Deborah Malaya. I was born on September 5, 1985, and I'm married with one child.
Hi, my name is Lasiza Olayode. I was born July 13th, 1981. I have 3 children, age 8, 7, and 5. And I'm also married as well.
How many pregnancies did you have?
Okay, so today I've had only 3 pregnancies. 2 of my pregnancies, 2 of my girls were born in the UK and 1 here in the US.
So I had 2 pregnancies in my life. So I lost my first baby, and I have just 1, and I had him here in the United States. But my first child, I was way back in Africa, so I had a bad experience.
did y'all experience any or intake any drugs or alcohol while you were pregnant?
Actually, my first pregnancy, I was diagnosed with my blood pressure was very high, so I was on blood pressure medication, labetalol, and I don't take drugs.
So during the course of all my pregnancies, all 3 of them, I never took drugs or alcohol. I did, however, take prenatal vitamins, which was recommended by my healthcare provider at the time.
Did you have any complications while you were pregnant?
Like I said, my first pregnancy, I had complications because I was induced at 30 weeks because the baby wasn't growing based on the blood pressure. But my second child was really good. I had there was no complication, but I was still on blood pressure medication because it was early detected. So I was monitored. So all through my second pregnancy was perfect.
Awesome. Okay, so the only challenges that I had in my pregnancies was with my first daughter, Yinka. I had gestational diabetes. So again, like Deborah, I had to be monitored throughout my pregnancy just because with gestational diabetes, there is a tendency that the baby can be a lot larger. So I was monitored throughout the pregnancy, and also had to watch my diet. But with that other 2, I didn't have gestational diabetes, which was awesome.
Did y'all have any complications during your deliveries?
Yes, I would say I was induced because I wasn't having any contraction, and based on the high blood pressure, my care provider was like, "Oh, the baby is looking good, everything." So at 36 weeks, during my second pregnancy, she was like, "You're good to go. We're gonna induce you." And it was hard. It was a long labor. It was about 10 hours, crying and stuff like that.
And for me, pretty much my first and the last daughter, the delivery was awesome. My second daughter, unfortunately, she was I think when I was like 5 centimeters dilated, they realized that the cord was around her neck and she was under great stress. So they did say to me that they might have to do a C-section. So every time I had a contraction, what was happening is the cord was pulling and then her heartbeat was going down. But thank God I was able to deliver her. It's called a VBAC, so I was able to do a VBAC delivery with her. And I remember as soon as them pulling her out, they literally had to yank the cord from around her neck because she was under great distress. But that's about it.
How did you deliver? Naturally or cesarean?
Oh yeah, it was natural. My second child was natural, but like I said, I was induced, and for a long time labor, and I was just. And the nurses were like telling me, "Do I want to take epidural?" I'm like, "No, I'm gonna go natural. I'm strong." So it was natural.
So I actually. What was the question?
How did you deliver?
How did I deliver? I had 3 natural births. They were all 3 natural births.
Oh,
However, I must say because I knew that Sade, which is my youngest, was going to be the last pregnancy, I did opt for epidural because I wanted to treat myself. Because I knew exactly what I had signed up for. So I was like, I'm going to treat myself this time. So yeah.
I think you already answered this, but how long were you in labor?
Like I said, like 10 hours because I was induced around 7 o'clock and I didn't have the baby until 10 at night.
So on average, I was like 8 hours in labor, which wasn't too bad.
What fears did you have about the pregnancy or about birth, delivery?
Yeah, because with my first child, it was based on premature baby. So the baby was little, very small. It was, I think, back home we use kilogram, so it was 2 point something, like very small. So when I had my second child, because when the baby came out, it was trying to survive. It was put in an incubator and stuff like that. So eventually the baby died because it cannot even breathe without the oxygen. And the doctors, they were explaining like if they want to keep the baby's gonna have a lot of complications. So I was like, no, I don't want to do that. So during my second child, I was scared. I'm like, okay, I don't want to lose this baby anymore. So I mean, I was like, I just have to do everything to make sure the baby is good.
What fears did you have?
Fears.
Oh, fears. I think delivery.
Yeah.
I kept thinking to myself, how am I gonna give birth to this baby? And to be honest with you, throughout the whole pregnancy, I was cool up until like the 8th month. I was like, oh my God. I kept asking my mom, how is this gonna happen? And then I just told myself, you know, if everybody else can do it, I can do it. I can't like just be the only one person that can't push this baby out. So yeah, it was the delivery.
And then Deborah, you already said how your first child was, but what about your second child? How big were they? What did they weigh?
Oh yeah, because he was weighing 6 pounds. It wasn't that too big, but it was taking too much time for him to come out from my vagina because I don't know what happened, and because I was so tired, and when they were telling me to push, I'm like, I'm tired, I can't push no more. So they had to get something, I don't know what that is, like something like a cord around his head.
Like a suction or
Yes,
a clamp?
yes,
or something?
just to pull him out. So they just told me, okay, one more time, push, and you're done. So once I pushed, the baby came out. I was like, okay, thank God.
So you're gonna have to repeat the question for me.
What was the weight and size of your, I guess you could say children,
Okay, so
if you remember.
Yinka was 7'3", Lola was 7'4", and then Sade, my youngest, was I think 7'6". So they were quite big babies. Yeah.
Did you carry full term
I did. I carried full term.
on all three?
On all three, yeah. I was full term on all three.
Which one is what?
Like, didn't you say you
14
went a little bit
weeks.
over 6 weeks? Like, you went over and then they had to induce you?
Oh yeah.
You went 6 weeks over and they're like, oh, okay, baby
Did you
needs to come.
carry up to 40 weeks? Or?
No, 36 weeks.
Oh, 36
Yeah,
weeks.
36 because of the
Oh.
blood pressure. She was like, okay, the
Mhm.
baby's fine. Let's just do it.
When did you realize you were pregnant? Second time.
The second time, right?
Second time.
I just noticed that I was I was feeling tired and I didn't even notice about my menstrual period because I wasn't counting. I wasn't paying too much attention on my period, but I noticed I was eating a lot
Mm-hmm.
and feeling sleepy, tired, and so I went for a pregnancy test. I'm like, oh, I'm pregnant.
And for me, I remember with my first daughter in particular, I was at work one day and somebody was like, okay, it's lunch. I'm going to McDonald's, what do you want? And I just remember thinking to myself, ew, McDonald's is horrible. And then that day, there was just like so many different things that was happening. There was someone that had like perfume in the office. I was like,
Oh my
I
God.
was like, ooh, what is that smell? And then at the end of the day, I was like, okay, this is weird. So, I took a pregnancy test and found out I was pregnant. I think I was like maybe 4 or 5 weeks when I found out I was pregnant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What environmental hazards were you faced with, if any?
For me, none.
No, I don't think so.
For this question, how did you find out the gender of your baby, or did you want to wait until you gave birth to find out the gender of your baby?
Oh, it was through scan, and I found out the gender at 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
4 months. That's how I was I was eager to know what the gender is. So I found out it was a boy, and I'm like, okay.
Again, like Deborah, I had a scan and we found out the sex of the child. I didn't want to wait. I didn't want to do this whole gender reveal.
Mm-mm.
When I was pregnant, we didn't do all this gender reveal stuff. But I wanted to know because I wanted to shop. So,
Let's get ready.
so yeah, I think it was like 4 or 5 months I found out that I was having a girl. So yeah.
Did you breastfeed, and if so, how long?
Yes, I did. I did breastfeed because when I had the baby, they had to introduce the formula because I was so tired I couldn't even carry the baby. So after that, I did both at the same time. So I breastfeed him for like 1 year and 3 months.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, because back home they tell you
It's good.
it's good to breastfeed, the baby is not gonna get sick and it's gonna be brilliant. So I want my child to be very brilliant. So I was doing it.
So with my first daughter, I had all intentions of breastfeeding her, but during the course of my pregnancy, I also found out that I had fibroids, and they found 6. So they found 4 inside the womb and 2 on the outside. So after I had her, it was very painful because what happens is when you breastfeed, your stomach contracts and it was extremely painful. And then she also had some issues with latching on. So I to be honest with you, I just became very frustrated and just decided, okay, we're just gonna go the formula route. With my second daughter, however, I did try, but it was just very difficult because I had them, my first and my second, really close. So when I wanted to breastfeed, I had a toddler that was just so it was just, yeah. So unfortunately, with all my 3 children, I bottle fed them. So, yeah.
While you were pregnant, did y'all experience any kind of, how was your emotional well-being? Did you have someone there for you emotionally, someone to talk to, pastor, priest, I don't know if you guys are religious, but yeah.
Not really, but is it like an advice or like
Just someone who you can talk to, like, about your pregnancy,
Oh, sure.
emotionally, like, right
Mhm.
now I
You could
feel,
provide it.
yeah.
Yeah, I was able to talk to we used to call them like mother in Christ or something like that.
Mhm.
Like sometimes they call it midwife. So if you have any, because during the first experience is new to me, so sometimes anything I see, I'll be able to talk to them and tell them, is this normal? Is this I hope I'm going through normal thing. And once I see some stuff that is so strange, I tell them and they'll tell me it's normal. But if it's not normal, they tell me you have to go see your care provider.
Yeah, I had friends and family around, and I guess when you're pregnant, that's all you ever talk about is the baby, your delivery, when the baby's coming. So every conversation kind of centers around this pregnancy until you have the baby, then it changes. But yeah, I had friends and family, a great support system, so which was awesome.
Did your baby have any complications while you were pregnant or after birth?
Well, like I said earlier on, the only complications that I had with the baby, my middle daughter, was that the cord was around her neck and she was under great stress. And that happened quite early on into the delivery. While I was delivering, they realized that, hey, every time I'm having these contractions, which become closer and closer, her heartbeat's dropping, something's going on. So, and that's when they called in a consultant and they told me, listen, if you don't push if we don't get her out in the next couple of minutes, we're gonna take you to what's it called? What do they call it? So not surgery, theatre. And I was like, So yeah.
No, I don't have any complications. Just with the first one.
While you guys were pregnant, how did you feel before, during, and after as your body's changing?
First of all, I noticed that my breast was getting enlarged and I had to go do shopping for my underwear. So, and sometimes I feel agitated, like I don't want to see anybody, I don't want to talk to anybody, and sometimes I feel tired. I can't even do nothing, like, so I feel so frustrated, like why is my body like this? I mean, I hate myself. But as time goes on, like at 4 months, then you feel strong. Sometimes when I was at 6, 7, I was very strong. I can even pull the pull the whole building down. Like, I don't know where the strength is
No.
coming from.
I had an opposite.
Yeah.
I had an opposite experience. I think in the first and second trimester of my pregnancies, I was really strong on my feet and agile. But at the end, I was so tired. You can't explain it, because even though physically your baby is here, you carry the weight all over your body. So it's like, it's so tiring. I just couldn't do anything just to kind of get up, and especially if you're having pregnancies and you have avid children as well, you have to look after. It's really tough. So during my first and second semesters were always good, and I lost loads of weight.
Oh wow.
I used to drop so much weight in my pregnancies, and then by the third trimester, I would be extremely tired. So yeah,
It's opposite.
Did you change your nutritional intake while you were pregnant?
Yes, I would say that, because while I was pregnant, I can't even eat anything like fried foods, because I have like this heartburn. So most of the time I take soft meals, and I take things that are very easy to digest. Yeah. So.
For me, with my first pregnancy, again coming back to the gestational diabetes, I had to cut down on a lot of foods with sugar, which was very tough, because all I craved in my first pregnancy was soda.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I wanted. But in my other two pregnancies, I pretty much ate what I liked, but there were times when it had to be specific. Like, I wanted a bread with, it had to be brown bread, and it was like with jam, and it had to be it was very Pacific. It was just like really Pacific. So yeah.
And then I guess the last one. Did y'all have morning sickness?
Oh sure, I do. I do, like vomiting.
Mhm.
Yes, I do a lot. Like for like 3 months.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was so terrible. So I get scared to eat, because anything I see, I'm like, I'm gonna throw up. But after that, I eat anything, and I gain a lot of weight.
I only had morning sickness with my second daughter, and it was throughout the entire pregnancy, and it was extremely frustrating, because it was, when you feel like, at that point where you're just about to kind of puke, but you don't. It was like a cliffhanger. Like, I was always like, oh, I'm so frustrated, I just want to vomit. And I couldn't. So yeah, that was very frustrating, but that's about it. With my first and second pregnancies, I didn't experience morning sickness or anything. So every pregnancy is different, right?
Yeah.
Very different. I know my husband used to tell me with my first and my second pregnancy, I would complain, I'd be like, I'm tired. He was like, you're a pro at this. You've done 2 rounds already. This is your 3rd round. You shouldn't be expecting all of this. But it is very different. My first pregnancy was textbook. I could tick off everything. With my second, it was kind of hit and miss, and then my last one was hit and miss as well. So every pregnancy is different.
Alright, that's about it.
Well, thank you, ladies, for letting us interview you.